There has been an inconsistency, since our COVID break, we know that. But to finish 11th in the league, which is where we will finish now, is an improvement of 6 places. And, that's with only bringing 5 players in. So really pleased in general with how the players have performed and improved. And, that will continue. Well, I think everybody who's seen the last couple of games can see that we're giving 100%. And the attitude of my players is to continue doing that. We treat every game the same. We want to win football games in the Premier League. It's a real tough league to do it, but we're up against a very good team in Chelsea and, a very good coach who's, doing back-to-back Champions League finals. So we know the task, but we'll be all out going to try and get a win on Sunday.
Felt like a huge effort and felt like a top performance. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's a big step, but it's only a step. It's not done yet. We have to push it over the line on Sunday. It was a huge team effort, like I said. It was full of intensity, full of hunger and ambition, and we played over many, many minutes with a lot of quality for, in my opinion, well-deserved win. But it's not the time for celebration, it's not the time for praise, it's not the time for philosophy. If it's more than 3 points, it's actually 3 points, and there's another one to catch on Sunday, and we have to be prepared and aware to finish the job.
Well, that was Thomas Tuchel speaking after that massive victory over Leicester on Tuesday night at Stamford Bridge. And now they have put themselves in pole position to qualify for the Champions League next season. It's in their hands, Tim. And when you go into a game knowing that all you have to do is win, how is that pressure on the players and the manager?
Yeah, pressure, but I think the players at Chelsea have been used to big games, big occasions. Certainly the manager has as well. It's fine margins as a football manager. We talked about him glowing terms over the last few months. He's been brilliant. He got to 2 cup finals. Didn't manage to win one. He got a tough task to beat Man City in the next one, and they could finish outside the top 4. Now, going down the history of that football club, normally, when you underachieve like that, forget the cup finals, forget missing out on the last day. Roman Abramovich doesn't look at that. He looks at output, what you've actually delivered. They could be looking at a new manager next season. I don't think for 1 minute they should. I think he's a very talented coach. But if I'm Tottenham and Daniel Levy, I'm waiting in the wings just in case they make that decision to get rid of him, which they won't. But it could be their best season and it could be their worst season for a very long time.
Timo Werner, unlucky tonight, wasn't he, in terms of had the ball in the back of the net, come off his arm, disallowed.
Is his first name Unlucky Timo Werner?
No.
Because everyone seems to say unlucky about him.
You're very aggressive there, Timothy. But I think has he got the most goal involvements this season for Chelsea? Yeah. So for his first season, Sam, has he been unlucky? Will he get better? Will he take those chances next season?
I think so. I mean, you think back to Drogba's first season, people looking at him going, who's this? He looked useless, to be fair. And then, obviously, he's one of the best strikers they've ever had in the Premier League era. Yeah. So I think so, law of averages and all that, but he's always in the right positions. And even if he is unlucky, he never looks like it affects him. He keeps going. He's always in the positions. He doesn't get his head down. Morata was similar, to be fair, and obviously it didn't go that way with him, but it seemed with Morata that the confidence went. Werner always seems to be back in amongst it. The other night, the other thing that's not unlucky is why is he always offside? He's always offside, and he celebrated that goal, slid on his knees. He must have, as a striker, you must know. And he
plays on the edge, though, doesn't he?
Well, there's the edge, and then there's the edge of the edge.
Yeah.
He was miles, and I saw him play at City the other week, and he was caught offside about 3 or 4 times in the first half.
Well, normally, if you haven't got the pace, you play right on the shoulder. But he's quick, Timo. That's one of his best attributes, So I feel sorry for all the foreign players who are in the Premier League. I think it's been a tough year for everyone in the world, and certainly for them boys, and they're coming to a new club without their families being able to come to and from Germany. I think he will improve. I think he will get better. He's a proven goal scorer wherever he's been. So as much as I've criticised him earlier, I think it's right to criticise him. I don't think he's had a good season, and I think that his mate, Kai Havertz, has been even worse. But I think there will be good signings in the long run for Chelsea.
The criticism is there, though, Tim, because there were such high expectations that came with him when he arrived at Chelsea. Let's just focus a little bit more on that win over Leicester on Tuesday night, though. How did they manage to get the better of Leicester?
I think the manager got the job done. I think that he set them out. They knew it was like a cup final. They lost one cup final. This was the other one. And they was on the front foot from the word go. And they didn't let Leicester play. I mean, they put them under so much pressure out of possession. They squeezed the life out of Leicester. And they managed to take the chances when it came along. I mean, he never, ever looks like he's going to miss a penalty, doesn't he? He's like Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. But I think Leicester kept going, typically, as a Brendan Rodgers side would. And there were some nervy moments because they failed to take the chances what they created, Chelsea. But in the end, I think they deserved it. And Thomas Tuchel said there, I think the best team won the football match. And you have to give them credit for that on a big disappointment of losing the FA Cup in the way they did with the VAR, you know, the millimetre decision with Chilwell. Looks like they got extra time coming up. You know, to take that blow and to pick themselves up and realise as a group that they need to be in the Champions League. Chelsea Football Club need to be in the Champions League, and it was a huge occasion, and they got the job done.
One of the disappointments from Tuesday night is N'Golo Kante appeared to pick up an injury, Sam. So when you look at these next two games for Chelsea, how difficult will it be for Thomas Tuchel to pick the team? Because both games, you would say, are as important as the next. Does he go for the same team in both?
If you win the Champions League final, though, even if if they win the Champions League, they win it again next year anyway. But even if they were to miss out on Sunday, if you win the Champions League, everyone forgets.
Can't risk it, though, going into the final.
You can't risk Kante. I think if it was me picking, I'd keep him for the final, if there was any doubt at all. But didn't Kante say he felt a little bit in the hamstring, so he came off as a precaution, so he might be all right. But I wouldn't
I'd play Kante tomorrow at Villa, me.
At the same time, in the beginning of the season, the two favoured was Jorginho and Kovacic.
Kovacic, yeah.
It was only because Kovacic has picked up an injury and Kante got in. He was outstanding when he got in the side, and he's shown Thomas Tuchel what he actually can deliver. So it's a tough one.
So as a manager, then, what would you do?
What a lovely problem to have.
What would you do if you were a manager? It was a doubt. You got a better chance of beating Villa or Man City in the Champions League final.
Yeah, I would play my best team, whether that's with Kante or whether that's with Kovacic.
So you'd play Kante, yeah?
I don't know.
If he's 50-50 going into the Champions League, so someone just say tomorrow on Sunday he's 50-50. Yeah. He says, "Boss, I'm 50-50. I've got a Champions League final." What would you do? Would you
play my best team in the first game against Villa.
Yeah, so you'd play him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Kante's my best team. I think Kovacic for me is a top-draw player.
No, it's the best team.
I think Kovacic and Jorginho are the best two in midfield. I think Kante could be used because of Jack Grealish's threat. Jack Grealish is back now, picking up that ball. I think Kante, the last thing Jack Grealish would want was a Kante trying to nick the ball off him. And when he gets the ball, he drives forward himself, and he's got his vision. You know, he's got a lot of attributes. Kante. It all depends how Thomas Tuchel sees the game panning out.
What would you do? Kante in your best team?
I'd keep him for the final. He'd be in the best team, yeah, but I'd keep him for the final. The Champions League final was huge, huge.
What would you do, Robbie?
I would play him, if he's 50-50, I'd play him against Villa, because then if they win it, you're guaranteed Champions League football. It's going to be harder to beat Man City in the Champions League final than beat Aston Villa, I think.
OK, well, let's talk about the Villa side of things then, because they will pose a real threat to Chelsea. As a player, Tim, as a manager heading into this game, if you manage a team, or you're one of the players in the team who knows you can have a say in where another team finishes in terms of Champions League or not, does it give you extra motivation?
Absolutely.
Do you care? Yeah,
added incentive rather than a dead rubber game. You know, there's always something on the game. I think you can be the party poopers, and I think that...
Is it nice to be a party pooper?
I think it is. I've been there a few times, you know. Sometimes I haven't managed to spoil the party, but sometimes we have, and it's, you know, I don't know why. It gives you that added incentive. You're absolutely right, but... Players like Jack Grealish and Ollie Watkins, they've got a lot to play for. You know, we're talking about Euros coming up. And Tyrone Mings, you know, going to want to impress. And Gareth Southgate will be looking at them trying to impress against the best teams. And Chelsea is certainly one of the best teams.
Could it be Jack's last game for Aston Villa, do you think?
Decent chance. It's difficult this year, though, because who's got the money? That kind of money. And how much would he go for? 80 million? Something like that? So it's difficult. But he might fancy a big challenge if someone comes this year.
I think we'll see the last of him in a Villa shirt at the weekend. As much as Jack loves that football club, I think he needs to progress his career. I think they've had a wonderful season in contrast to the one last season, but I think where they are is par at the moment. I think there's too many good teams ahead of him. I think Jack wants to win trophies, and I think he's at a good age to move on now, and there'll be a queue around the block. As long as the price isn't absolutely right, Sam's right.
He signed the contract, though, didn't he, last summer? And we talked about the Kane situation with his long contract.
Possibly there might be a buyout in there. for a certain fee, which might be affordable to a few clubs. But I don't know that.
Is there a particular club that he suits, do you think, Tim?
Pardon?
Is there a particular club that he suits?
Yeah. Anyone he certainly suits a Man City. For me, he suits a Man United. I think they're crying out for a player like him. They've got Fernandes, but when he's missing, they can't give him a rest. You know, we've seen them try to give him a rest and they have to bring him on at half-time, Bruno Fernandes, because they have to come and rescue it. I think Jack can open the door like Bruno can. He takes it on the front foot, creates a melee, releases to players who he frees up. I think Jack Grealish can play for any top team in the Premier League and all over the world, but no one wants to leave the Premier League.
Aston Villa will have fans at Villa Park for their final game of the season. We've seen this week just how amazing it's been to have fans back in stadiums, Tim.
Yeah.
How pleased will they be with the season they've had?
Well, in contrast to last year, they're chalk and cheese. Brilliant season. I think they recruited brilliantly. Martinez has been fantastic recruitment in goal. I think Konsa's improved with Tyrone Mings. They seem to have been more solid at the back and had that platform. They haven't been able to cope when Jack Grealish has been missing. They've got better in the last few weeks, just prior to him coming back. I think they're going to have to put provisions in, possibly for Jack leaving. Ollie Watkins will only get better. It's his first season in the Premier League. I think they've had a good year. I think the fans will be pleased, and I think they're going to show their appreciation on Sunday.
And they'll make it tough for Chelsea. What's your prediction for this one, Sam?
I could see Villa getting something out of it. I don't know if it would be a win or a draw, but it could be difficult for Chelsea. Fans coming back in. Chelsea benefited against Leicester the other night. I think Villa can benefit. 2-2.
Ooh, a draw. OK, Tim?
Oh, tight game. I think it's going to be very tight on the back of what I've just said about Jack Grealish. I think he could be the difference, but I'm going to go for Chelsea and Thomas Tuchel, who's a very talented manager with a wonderful group of players. I think they get the job done. OK,
we'll see Robbie's prediction a little bit later. It is going right down to the wire in terms of those Champions League places, and Liverpool have a must-win game at Anfield in front of their fans against Crystal Palace. Let's hear from Jurgen Klopp.
It would be great if we could do it, but it's not done yet. And it was intense, but who cares?